Hello everyone, today we are going to start with the chapter number 5, Morphology of Flowering Plants, Class 11th. The wide range in the structure of higher plant will never fail to fascinate us, even though the angiosperms show such a large diversity in external structure and morphology. They are all characterized by presence of roots, stems, leaves, flowers and fruits. In chapter 2 and 3, we talked about classification of plants based on morphological and other characteristics. For any successful attempt at classification and at understanding any higher plant, we need to know standard technical terms, variations and standard technical terms and standard definition. We also need to know about the possible variations in different parts found as adaptations of the plants to the environment. Example, adaptation to various habitats for protection, climbing, storage, etc. If you put out any weed, you will see that all of them have roots, stems and leaves. They may be bearing flowers and fruits. The underground part of the flowering plant is the root system, while the portion above the ground that forms the shoot system. Now the root. In majority of dicotyledonous plants, the direct elongation of radicle leads to the formation of root. In majority of dicotyledons, the direct elongation of radicle leads to the formation of primary root, which grows inside the soil, bears lateral roots of several orders that are referred to as secondary roots. Yes, secondary, tertiary, etc. Yes. Primary roots and its branches, they constitute the tap root system as seen in mustard plant. In monocotyledonous plants, primary root is short-lived and is replaced by a large number of roots. These roots originate from the base of the stem and constitute the fibrous root system, which is seen in monocotyledonous plant as seen in wheat plant. In some plants like grass, monster and the banyan tree, roots arise from the parts of plant other than radicle. They are called adventitious roots. The main function of the root system are absorption of water and minerals from the soil, providing a proper anchorage to the plant parts, storing reserve food material and synthesis of plant growth regulators. Origins of the root. Root is covered at the apex by a thimble-like structure called root cap. It is protected. It protects the tender apex of the root as it makes its way through the soil. A few millimeters above the root cap is a region of meristematic activity. The cells of this region are very small, thin-walled, and with dense protoplasm. They divide rapidly. The cells proximal to this region undergo a rapid elongation and enlargement and are responsible for the growth of the root in the length. This region is called region of elongation. The cells of elongation zone gradually differentiate and mature. Hence, this zone proximal to the region of elongation is called region of maturation. From this region, some of the epidermal cells form very fine and delicate thread-like structures called root hairs. These root hairs absorb water and minerals from the soil. Now moving to the stem. What are the features that distinguish a stem from a root? The stem is the ascending part of this axis, bearing branches, leaves, flowers and fruits. It develops from the plumule of the embryo of a germinating seed. The stem bears nodes and internodes. The region of the stem where leaves are born, they are called nodes, while internodes are the portion between the two nodes. The stem bears buds, which may be terminal or axillary. Stem is generally green when young and later often become woody and dark brown. The main function of the stem is spreading out branches bearing leaves, flowers and fruit. It conducts water and minerals and photosynthesis. Some stems perform the function of storage, food, support, protection, and of a vegetative propagation. The leaf is a lateral, generally flattened structure borne on the stem. It develops at the node and bears a bud in its axil. The axillary bud later develops into a branch. Leaf originate from shoot apical meristems and are arranged in acropetal order. Very important line. They are most important vegetative organs for photosynthesis. Yes. Now moving ahead. A typical leaf consists of three main parts: leaf base, petiole and lamina. The leaf is attached to the stem by a leaf base. This is the leaf base. And may bear two lateral small leaf-like structures called stipules. we can find using stipules the simple and compound leaves. Simple leaf have stipules and compound leaves do not have stipules present on the leaf base. In monocots, leaf base expands into a sheath covering the stem partially or wholly. In some leguminous plants, the leaf base may become swollen, which is called pulvinous. The petiole help hold the blade to light. Long, thin, flexible petioles allow leaf blades to flutter in wind, thereby cooling the leaf and bringing fresh air to the leaf surface. The lamina or the leaf blade is a green expanded part of the leaf with veins and veinlets. There is usually middle prominent vein which is known as midrib. Veins provide rigidity to the leaf blade and acts as a channels of transport for water, minerals and food material. The shape, margin, apex, surface and extent of incision of lamina varies in different leaves. Venation. The arrangement of veins and veinlets in the lamina of the leaf is termed as venation. When the veinlets form a network, the venation is reticulate, which is seen in dicots. When the veins are parallel to each other, which within the lamina, venation is parallel. Leaves of dicots, they possess reticulate, and parallel venation is a characteristic of monocots. Types of leaf. A leaf is said to be simple when lamina is entire or when incised incision do not touch the midrib. When incisions of the lamina reach up to the midrib, breaking it into a number of leaflets. That is a compound leaf. A bud is present in the axil of petiole in both simple and compound, but not in the axis of leaflets of the compound leaves. Yes. This is a compound leaf. Look. Leaflets के पास कोई bud present नहीं है, but at the end of leaf base, here the bud is present. ये है इनके कहने का मतलब. Compound leaf may be of two types, pinnately compound and palmately. In a pinnately compound, a number of leaflets are present on a common axis, the rachis, which represents a midrib of the leaf. In palmately compound leaf, the leaflet are attached to a common point, that is tip of the petiole, as seen in silk cotton. Phyllotaxy. The phyllotaxy is a pattern of arrangement of leaves on the stem or the branch. This is usually three type: alternate, opposite, and whorled. In alternate type of phyllotaxy, a single leaf arises at the node in alternate manner, as in China rose, mustard, and sunflower plants. In opposite type, a pair of leaves arise at each node and lie opposite to each other, as in Calotropis and guava plant. If more than two leaves arise at a node and form a whorl, it is whorled, and as in Elstonia. Then a flower is modified shoot, wherein the shoot apical meristem changes to floral meristem. Internodes do not elongate and the axis get condensed. The apex produces different kind of floral appendages laterally at successive nodes instead of leaves. When a shoot tip transforms into flower, it is always solitary. The arrangement of flowers on the floral axis is inflorescence, depending on whether the apex get developed into flower or continues to grow. There are two major types of inflorescence, racemose and cymose. Racemose is what? Acropetal manner, which yes. In racemose type of inflorescence, the main axis continues to grow and the flowers are borne laterally in an acropetal succession. Acropetal succession means this is how acropetal succession. कि आगे न्यू लीव्स होंगे और पीछे मेच्योर लीव्स होंगे. But in cymose type of inflorescence, the main axis terminates in the flower, hence is limited in growth, and the flowers are borne in basipetal order. Here, limited growth is observed. Yes, in cymose. The flower. Flower is a reproductive unit in the angiosperms. It is meant for sexual reproduction. Typical flower has 4 different kinds of whorl arranged successively on the swollen end of the stalk or pedicle called thalamus or receptacle. They are calyx, corolla, and roscium, gynoecium. Calyx and corolla, they are accessory organs, while androecium and gynoecium, they are reproductive organs. In some flowers like lily, the calyx and corolla are not distinct, they are fused and are termed as perianth. When a flower has both androecium and gynoecium, it is what? This is bisexual. A flower having either only stamen or only carpel is unisexual. In symmetry, flowers may be actinomorphic or zygomorphic, which is a bilateral symmetry. When flower can be divided into two equal parts, ठीक है. In any radial plane passing through the center is actinomorphic, mustard, datura, chili. And when it can be divided into two similar halves only in one particular plane, it is zygomorphic. Pea, gulmohar, bean, cassia. Flower may be symmetric, irregular if it cannot be divided into two similar halves in any vertical plane passing through the center, as in Kana. Flower may be trimerous, pentamerous. Flower may be trimerous, tetramerous, or pentamerous when the floral appendages are in multiple of 3, 4, 5 respectively. Flowers with bracts reduced leaf found at the base of the pedicle are called bracteate, and those without they are ebracteate. Now, moving ahead, based on the position of calyx, corolla, and roscium in respect of the ovary, on the thalamus, the flower are described as hypogynous, perigynous, epigynous. In hypogynous flower, the gynoecium occupies the highest position while the other parts are situated below it. The ovary in such flowers is said to be superior. Example, mustard, china rose, and brinjal. And if the gynoecium is situated in the center and other parts of the flower are located on the rim of the thalamus almost at the same level, it is called perigynous. The ovary here is half inferior. Example, plum, rose, peach. In epigynous flowers, the margin of the thalamus grows upward, enclosing the ovary completely and getting fused with it. The other parts of flower arise above the ovary, hence the ovary is said to be inferior, as in flowers of guava and cucumber. The ray florets and the ray florets of sunflower, very important. In this chapter, examples are very important, and this chapter is also very important. Each flower normally has 4 whorls: calyx, corolla, and roscium and gynoecium. Calyx. The calyx is the outermost whorl of the flower. Members, they are called sepals. Generally, sepals are green leaf-like. They protect the flower in bud stage. The calyx may be gamosepalous or polysepalous. Corolla. It is composed of petals. Petals are usually brightly colored to attract insects for pollination, like calyx. Corolla may also be gamopetalous or polypetalous. Of shape and color of corolla vary greatly in plants. Corolla may be tubular, bell-shaped, funnel-shaped, or wheel-shaped. Aestivation. The mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in a floral bud with respect to other members of the same whorl is known as aestivation. The main type of aestivations are valvate, twisted, imbricate, and what? Vexillary. When sepals or petals in a whorl, they just wait. When they just sepals or petals in a whorl just touch one another at margin without overlapping, as in callotropics, this is said to be volvic. Yes, one margin of the appendix overlaps that of the next one. So, as in china rose, ladyfinger, and cotton, it is called twisted. If margins of the sepal overlap one another but not in a particular direction, as in cassia and gulmohar, the aestivation is imbricate. In pea and green flowers, there are 5 petals. The largest standard overlap the 2 lateral petals, wings, which in turn overlap the 2 smallest anterior petals called keel. This type of aestivation is vexillary or papilionaceous. Very important. Androecium. Androecium is composed of stamen. Each stamen, which represents the male reproductive organ, consists of a stalk, filament, and an anther. Each anther is usually bilobed, tetrasporangiate, diathecous. Each lobe has 2 chambers. The pollen sacs, the pollen grains are produced in pollen sacs. A sterile stamen is called staminode. Sterile stamen is staminode. Stamens of flower may be united with the other members such as petals or among themselves. When stamens are attached to the petals, they are epipetalous, as in brinjals, or epiphyllous when attached to the perianth, as in flowers of lily. The stamens in a flower may either remain free or may be united in varying degrees. Stamen may be united into one bunch or one bundle, monodelphous, as in china rose, or 2 bundles, as in diadelphous, as in pea, and or into more than 2 bundles, polyadelphous, as in citrus. There are many variations in length of filament within the flower, as in salvia and mustard. Gynoecium. Gynoecium is a female reproductive part of the flower and is made up of 1 or more carpels. The carpel consists of 3 parts, namely stigma, style, and ovary. Ovary is an enlarged basal part on which lies elongated tube, the style. The style connects ovary to the stigma. The stigma is usually at the tip of the style and is receptive surface for pollen grains. Each ovary bears 1 or more ovules attached to a flattened fusion placenta. When more than one carpel is present, they may be free, as in lotus and rose, and are called apocarpus. They are termed as syncarpus when carpels are fused, as in mustard and tomato. After fertilization, the ovules develop into seed and ovary matures into a fruit. The arrangement of ovules within the ovary is known as placentation. The placentation are of different types, namely marginal, axial, parietal, basal, central, and free central. In marginal placentation, the placenta forms a ridge along the ventral suture of the ovary, and the ovules are born on this ridge, forming two rows as in P. When the placenta is axial, the ovules are attached to it in a multilocular ovary. The placentation is said to be axial, as in China rose, tomato, and lemon. In parietal placentation, the ovules develop on the inner wall of the ovary or on the periphery part. Ovary is one-chambered, but it becomes two-chambered due to the formation of a false septum. Example, mustard and argemone. When ovules are born on central axis and septa are absent, as in dianthus and primrose, the placentation is called free central, and in basal placentation, the placenta develops at the base of the ovary and the single ovule is attached to it, as in sunflower and marigold. This kind of placentation is marginal. Yes, this kind of placentation is what? Let us see every type. This is sorry. Wait. Sorry. This is axial placentation. This is parietal, and this is free central. Yes, this is a basal. Now coming to the basal again. Examples: marigold and sunflower. The flower is a characteristic feature of flowering plants. It is a mature or ripened ovary developed after fertilization. If a fruit is formed without fertilization, it is called parthenocarpic fruit. Generally, the fruit consists of a wall or pericarp and seed. The pericarp may be dry or fleshy. When pericarp is thick and fleshy, it is differentiated into outer epicarp, middle mesocarp, and inner endocarp. In mango and coconut, the fruit is known as drupe. They develop from monocarpillary superior ovaries and are one-seeded. In mango, the pericarp is well differentiated into an outer thin epicarp and middle fleshy edible mesocarp and an inner stony hard endocarp. In coconut, which is also a drupe, the mesocarp is a fibrous. The seed. Ovules after fertilization develop into seeds. A seed is made up of a seed coat and embryo. The embryo is made up of a radical and embryonal axis and one or two cotyledons. One in monocots and two in dicots. Example: wheat, maize, monocots, and gram pea. Structure of dicot leaf. The outermost covering of the seed is the seed coat, and the seed coat has two layers: outer testa and inner tegment. The hilum is a scar on the seed coat through which the developing seed were attached to the fruit. Above the hilum is a small pore called the micropyle. Within the seed coat is the embryo consisting of an embryonal axis and two cotyledons. The cotyledons are often fleshy and full of reserve food material. At the two ends of the embryonal axis are present the radicle and the plumule. In some seeds, such as castor, the endosperm formed as a result of double fertilization is a food storing tissue and called endospermic seeds. In plants such as bean, gram, and pea, endosperm is not present in mature seeds, and such seeds are non-endospermous. Structure of mono. Generally, monocotyledon seeds are endospermic, but some as orchids are non-endospermic. Very important line. And in seeds of cereals such as maize, the seed coat is membranous and generally fused with the fruit wall. The endosperm is bulky and stores food. The outer covering of the endosperm separates embryo by a proteinaceous layer called aleuron layer. The embryo is small and situated in a groove at one end of the endosperm. It consists of one large and shield-shaped cotyledon known as scutellum and a short axis with a plumule and a radicle. The plumule and a radicle are enclosed in a sheath which are called coleoptile and coleorhiza. Plumule give rise to stem, radicle give rise to root. Now, semi-technical description of a typical flowering plant. Various morphological features are used to describe a flowering plant. The description has to be brief in a simple and scientific language and presented in a proper sequence. A plant is described beginning with its habitat, vegetative character, root, stem, and leaves, then floral characters, inflorescence, and flower parts. After describing various parts of a plant, a floral diagram and a floral formula are presented. The floral formula is represented by some symbols. In the floral formula, BR, stands for bracteate, K stands for calyx, C for corolla, P for what? Perianth. P for perianth. A for androecium, G for gynoecium. This for superior ovary. Yes, and this for inferior ovary. This for male, this symbol is for female, and this symbol is for bisexual plants, and plus sign for actinomorphic, and percentage sign is for zygomorphic nature of a plant. Fusion is indicated by enclosing the figure within the bracts and region by a line drawn above the symbols of the floral plant. A floral diagram provides information about number of parts of the flower, their arrangement and relation they have with one another. The position of the mother axis with respect to flower is represented by a dot on the top of the flower diagram. The position of the mother axis with respect to the flower is represented by a dot on the top of the flower diagram. Calyx, corolla, and androecium, gynoecium are drawn in successive words, calyx being outermost, gynoecium being the center. Calyx outermost, gynoecium being the center. Floral formula also shows cohesion and adhesion within parts of words. Floral diagram and floral formula represents the mustard family Brassicaceae. This represents the family Brassicaceae. This, which is plus bisexual. This is for what? K is for? Tell me. K is for calyx. And C is for corolla, is for androecium, and G is for gynoecium. This formula is for what? Brassicaceae mustard plant. Now, Solanaceae family. It is a large family commonly called as potato family. It is widely distributed in tropics and subtropics. Vegetative characters. Plants mostly herbs, shrubs, and rarely small trees. Stem herbaceous, rarely wood, aerial, erect, cylindrical, branched, solid or hollow, hairy or glabrous, underground and stem in potato. Solanum tuberosum. Leaves alternate, simple, rarely pinnately compound, exstipulate, venation reticulate. Floral characters: inflorescence solitary, axillary or cymose, as in solanum. Flower bisexual, actinomorphic, calyx sepals 5, united, persistent, valvate, aestivation. This all can be understood from the floral formula. Corolla petals 5, united, valvate, aestivation. Androecium stamens 5, epipetalous. Gynoecium bicarpally, obligately placed, syncarpous, ovary superior, bilocular, placenta swollen with many ovules, exile. Fruits, berry or capsule, seeds, many endosperms. Economics importance. Many plants belonging to this family are a source of food like tomato, brinjal, potato, spice chili, medicine, belladonna, ashwagandha, fumigatory tobacco, ornamentals, petunia. And that's it with the chapter.